Out of 24,000 entries from all over Africa, she won Total Start-Upper of the Year 2016 award. That means her business concept ticked all the boxes the judges were looking for: innovation, competitiveness, growth boosting, and job creation. Bathabile Mpofu founded Gazimulo Applied Science to improve the quality of science education. So this started from like a personal story, right?
Yes.
What happened to you personally that made you do this?
All right. So when I was in high school, I actually was sharp in high school. At least that's what I thought. And my parents and my relatives encouraged me to become a doctor.
Okay.
But when I applied, I wasn't accepted because my matric results were actually not that good, right? And then I went on to do a BSc. And then when I got in the lab, I realized, wow, I actually don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So the high school background wasn't good. It didn't lay a good enough foundation for me to do well, even when I was doing the BSc. And when I finished studying there, I worked at the university, fortunately, as a lab technician. And I saw a lot of learners going through the same challenges that I went through. And deep down within myself, I knew that, I need to do something somehow, because I understand the struggles that the learners are going through. And I had the idea for quite a while, but only last year did I decide that I would go to schools. In fact, I registered a company and, operate as a company. I would go to disadvantaged schools, perform experiments there, excite learners about science and all of that. But then later I thought, okay, this is not enough because I'm the one still doing the experiments. It doesn't help the learner when they get to university, They haven't touched this.
Everyone is just watching.
Exactly.
They need to get in on the action.
Exactly. So then we decided that let's rather create a kit that the learners are going to have, that they're going to experiment themselves, so that they get that confidence that they need to study science.
So what's the process when you want to do something like this? Because you decide, that's great. What's the very next step after you decide?
So my husband and I just said, the first thing we need to do is let's register the business and let's open a bank account. Okay. At least let's be in a space to start receiving money. And then, because now I'm a student at UCT, right? Yeah. And UCT had an opportunity where they wanted students to apply for some seed funding to start companies. And I applied for that money, and I got the first amount of money that we needed. Yeah. And within the 2 weeks, I won a pitching competition, and then there was more money coming in. So then we had enough money to now start developing the kit, to make it come to life. And then by the time the total startup competition came, the box was already ready.
So
and we just needed
it in.
Exactly. We just needed the money to scale up, and that's where Total came in. So
what does your husband do that he's also like here with you?
He's actually more entrepreneurial. He's got the spirit more than I do. I usually joke and say the reason why the business started was to get him off my back, because he was always like, you studied science, you need to do something, make soap or whatever. So he has that drive, and the reason why I started really is because he was always pushing me to start.
Because I was about to ask you, you studied and then you said you worked at the varsity. I wanted to know, where does your entrepreneurial thing come from? Were you always like that as a child? Were you always pushing boundaries as a child?
Well, as a child, I was more of a scientist than anything, because, and my mom actually, she allowed me to experiment in the house. I know that I killed the one fern plant that had been in the family for so long because I wanted to know what's going to happen if I put salt, and it died. I also killed a few mosquitoes using cooking oil because that's what I saw on TV. So she allowed me to experiment. So I just am a scientist. But then seeing the need and then having my husband push and say, why don't you create a business out of you addressing this need? So then that's when it came. And I think I just woke up one morning and I thought, you know what, this is actually possible. I can do this, because he had been saying for such a long time. But then one morning I thought, let's do this, man. And I suppose an influence as well was the fact that, if you're working and you're getting a salary, you have an illusion of comfort, security, you're thinking. So when that illusion came to, when I got to see that this is actually not safe, then also that had an effect.
You have 3 children.
Yeah.
Would you say that, having them as well just even made you more focused because you want them to watch mom achieve all these things?
Absolutely. And, I want my kids to be driven. So, but I cannot say that.
Tell them, be driven.
If I'm not doing it. And, sometimes when we're manufacturing, we let them see the process, just so that it's in them that entrepreneurship is also a career option, you know.
So what's your task team looking like now? Are you, like, how many people are you employing?
So, okay, because when we started, yeah, after the competition, we got so many orders. Goodness.
What a good problem to have. We got so many orders. What am I going to do with all this money?
We worked 24 hours, like literally. So then, obviously, it was myself. Then my husband would go to work, knock off, and then come and work in the business. And then we hired one lady. And then we have, because we're at a university, so we have access to students, you know. So then we've got students that are working part-time, depending on what the demand is. Yeah.
And, you know, usually with entrepreneurs, there's this big notion that, because the only ones that are vocal, I would say, or the ones that we know of, are the ones that, oh, I dropped out of varsity and I did this. You know, I dropped out of this and I did that. You actually finished your studies.
Yeah.
Would you say that that helped you in a big way, that you got the academics down?
Absolutely, because when I finished my BSc, then I worked at the university, and then they allowed me to study. So then I continued and I did my honors. I think the fact that I was at an academic institution and interacting with learners and seeing their problems, and me studying at the same time, realizing where the issues are, that helped.
Yeah.
And then I decided, okay, so when because I left university, and then I went and worked at a government organization that actually funds entrepreneurs. Then I realized, actually, there's not a lot of African people having access to these tons of money that's there. So then I thought, why don't I do some business studies? Oh, I mean, there were a lot of things going on. Then I did a PDBA. Now I'm actually, on the 7th of December, I'm submitting my final thesis I'm doing an MBA at UCT. So
good heavens.
All of that is helping, because I'm getting the theory and the exposure and the experience that I need to now run the business.
And because
you're
myself. In the business, you're getting the practical work of being a business person as well.
Yeah.
What are the pitfalls of everything that you're doing?
Okay, so I mean, I'd read, and this is true, many places that when you start a business, you need to have a mentor. And I aimed very high. I wanted a billionaire mentor. I wanted millionaire mentors. But those people are not millionaires for nothing. I mean, they focus on their businesses. So they're busy. That was my main challenge. So I had to tone down a little bit. And I was just fortunate that I won a competition called Mompreneur of the Year. So I'm the current Mompreneur of the Year. And one of the prizes was access to a business coach. So we now have a business coach that's assisting us. That was the one thing. And secondly, actually hiring people, it's got its challenges.
Because you have to fire them sometimes.
Exactly. So if I had understood labor law well, I must say I would have saved the company some money. And then just the usual. Because, I mean, I buy chemicals in bulk from a lot of suppliers. So I need to find prices. I really have to do that thoroughly. One of the chemicals that goes in the kits, I needed to buy 25 kilograms of it, right? And the one supplier that I always used charged us 4,600 for 25 kgs of the chemical. But when they didn't deliver on time, and I had to look for other suppliers, and then I found somebody who sold it to us for 410 rands. So you can imagine. So you have to do that homework. You got to gather all that information so that you can use it to your advantage.
So these kits, can they be found somewhere? Are you selling them? Is it at CNA?
Not yet. But you can find it online on our website. It's ngazisciences.co.za.
ngazisciences.co.za. And it's basically a kit that I can give to my child and he can play around.
A child in high school, though.
A child in high school.
Yeah.
So one that
but your child, you will have to do the experiments yourself.
Girl, you don't want to know what my science mark was. Okay? Thank you so much. Do you know what? I love you. I think you're so driven and you're such a force. And when you speak about this labor law, in my head I was like, she's going to go study law. That's what she's going to go do. She's going to go study law.
I'll get somebody else to do that.
Now that's an entrepreneur thinking. It's like, you know what? You don't have to do everything yourself. You can outsource some things.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you've shone such a light for many women watching today.
No, thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick break. It's the last one. When I'm back, we'll be with a man who's listed as one of Forbes magazine's top 30 African entrepreneurs under the age of 30. Stay right where you are.